Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm occasional talking head for smallcaps.com.au, James Whelan, joined with one of our old friends here on Smallcaps. We've been following this story for a long time. We'll get straight into it. From Resolution Minerals, Head of US Operations, Craig Lindsay. Craig, how are you now, mate?
I'm doing absolutely great. Great to see you, James.
Yeah, and you too. Always good. Looking forward to our next catch-up. Now, straight into it, a really quick one. You've just announced, and I'll let you get into the details, as a standout intercept with the maiden hole over at Golden Gate and with multiple high-grade zones in there. Geologic significance, run us through the numbers and what's going on. What's the cause of celebration?
Sure. Well, firstly, it was our first hole that we put out. We happened to hit a discovery hole. It was 189 meters long of 1.3 grams per ton gold. This was at the Golden Gate target. That's a target that's about 3 kilometers wide, a half kilometer, or 3 kilometers long and a half kilometer wide. And this was right at the north end of that target. So really, really exciting to get an intercept that thick and with that grade. And just as importantly, your readers or listeners may be aware or may recall that historic drilling at this project has only gone down about 400 to 500 feet in depth, right down to the kind of oxide sulfide boundary. Our plan was to go down with deeper holes. This one was over 250 meters. It ended in mineralization, and it proved our theory that this thing does increase in grade as it goes deeper, that there is a lot of gold down there. And super excited to see what's coming next with the drill program, because we've got another 9 holes to go. And I really think we've got the tiger by the tail here with that drill hole. So super excited to see what comes out next.
And that is what's coming out next. Now, the importance is, and obviously for some of the people that aren't, with the lingo of the geology, the fact that it ends in mineralization is significant because it's deeper.
Because it can keep going deeper.
Yeah. So that's the key thing. So the fact is that if you had drilled deeper, we would find out more, but it means that there's more underneath there, which is great. Thank you for filling us in on that. So the near-term news flow that investors should expect from phase 1?
Near-term news flow is going to be the next 9 holes, and we should have another hole or 2 out in the next 2 weeks. So excited about that. I wanted to share with your listeners, I'm down at the in Boise, Idaho right now at the Idaho Mining Association convention, and the energy in Idaho right now is absolutely palpable. We had Brad Little, the governor, speak this morning. The convention is buzzing. I've never seen so many people at the Idaho Mining Association convention, from service providers to companies to investors to some of the state and local leaders that are driving permitting in the state. So absolutely fantastic to see the energy here in Idaho.
It's there's something that's there. The Idaho Mining Association convention. I actually turned down an opportunity to MC that, so I hope that whoever they got to fill in for that is doing a great job.
They could not do a job greater than you. That's one thing I'll say. Everyone think, darn, this would be a great event if we had a better MC.
I'll make sure that I calendar it next year. And speaking of which, actually on that topic, IMARC, which was last week, for the first time I've ever been going, day 3 was as busy as day 1. That's the International Mining and Resources Convention that happens once a year here. It's a big deal. It's the biggest one that happens. These things, people are very excited. Now let's get to the reason why people might be excited. Let's talk about, we'll skip over something that I want to talk about and we'll get back to it. Perpetua Resources, which is just next door. And this might be part of the excitement why everyone's talking about it. Obviously, I think it is. They've got the Stibnite project next door, just announced $255 million US strategic equity investment from Agnico Eagle. I've got it here, US $75 million from this JP Morgan Chase fund thing that they have set up for the direct investment, and also $2 million application that they've got with the US EXIM team, the financing. This sort of stuff is really like out of the blue. Any JP Morgan or EXIM or anyone could just take a stake in one of your holdings. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, was fantastic for them with the JP Morgan investment. But quite honestly, the thing that really got me going is Agnico Eagle putting some money into this, and a significant chunk of change. Got a ton of time for Agnico Eagle. It's a Canadian mining company, global presence. They're one of the most respected mining companies out there, focused on gold. They've invested in one of my deals in the past. They do a heck of a lot of due diligence. And if they're scratching out a check for a deal, that's a positive sign. And so next comment, of course, is that we're right next door to
That's where I was
Perpetua.
meant to go with this one. Yeah. So you've got the Stibnite veins that are right next door, and you've logged them, and you're progressing the permitting for a larger antimony drill program. Do you want to run us through the timeline for that?
Yeah, well, we're just starting that process of permitting a larger exploration footprint. We'll be filing that this year. We'll go through the process of permitting under an environmental assessment. We've already started a bunch of the baseline work that feeds into an environmental assessment. So we're working right now on cultural surveys. We're doing wetland studies. We're doing some raptor studies as we speak right now, just getting that done before the snow gets too tough up at the hill. So that is a big piece. Another thing, in terms of why is there a lot of excitement in Idaho right now? A lot of it is being driven by critical metals, and there's a number of projects here in Idaho, both rare earths and critical metals. And so this falls on the heels of this framework that was agreed to, critical metals and rare earths framework between the United States and Australia that was announced last week. And, I was out in Washington for an event last Wednesday on the heels of that. And the U.S. government, we had Doug Burgum speaking, who is absolutely the current administration has their blinders on and wants things to happen with critical metals. So very, very supportive. It was great to see the work that the Australian government has done getting to that agreement. It's going to bring more money into the space. So I think that is also creating some excitement around the Idaho Mining Association event.
Yeah, no, that has gone. Did you want to expand on more about the discussions that happened in Washington? I mean, or we can have a chat about it later if you really want to.
Well, I think what I can say is that I'm very comfortable saying that the Australian government really put their best foot forward with the U.S. government. Kevin Rudd, who's the Australian ambassador to the United States, did a very, very good job, put in a lot of legwork getting that deal across the goal line. Prime Minister Albanese was out, spoke very, very strongly about his government's support for critical metals. So I think the wind is really in our sails. I think we're really in the right place at the right time with what we're doing at the Horse Heaven project and with Resolution.
There's an expression about, picking up your chips and walking calmly away from the table. So I'll ask one more question about what's ahead, and then I think we might close it off. I'll let you get some sleep if you can. I mean, with all of the excitement that's happening over in Idaho, the key catalysts that investors should watch out for the next quarter or two with everything that's sort of going on, permitting updates at Antimony Ridge, and any decisions on the phase 2 drilling.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about drill results over the next 2 months. We put in a bunch of high-grade antimony into a company called Kingston Process Metallurgy in Ontario, Canada, who are going to they are going to produce an end product from antimony samples from Antimony Ridge. They're going to produce a flow sheet of how best to process that ore. We are going to be putting in a permit for a bulk sample out at Antimony Ridge. That's going to allow us to get some of this high-grade material off of the hill and really start advancing this story with the U.S. government and with end users. So really a lot on our plate right now, but exciting times.
Great announcement. Thank you for that. And also with what's happening next door, relating to what's happening on your turf as well, which is great. And it's good to hear the feedback of that excitement going on at the mining conference as well, with over the head too. Always good finger on the pulse stuff to go with. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig Lindsay, Head of US Operations at Resolution Minerals.
Look forward to talking to you again soon, James. Take care.
Yeah, I hope it's always just continue to be good news. So it's always going to be great to catch up. Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye.